Hello and welcome to this video for the Your 6OS platform. In this video, we're going to talk about our new notification solution. You'll see it referred to as Notification V2. Now what we're doing is we are migrating from our current Notifications V1 offering to this new solution under the V2 name. Now the focus of this is to allow for more granularity in actual notifications. Really the focus is around things. So today, when you utilize the current notification solution, you are seeing a set those notifications based on things from the device level or the device as the topic. Now what we're moving to is the ability to go down to more of a things level. We do have another video that does cover this a little bit more in depth, but really the focus is to allow more of a granular look at where those notifications are originating from, and that is, to cover things such as a barrier or a peripheral instead of, say, the I/O board or the actual controller. So to be able to get more granular. Now, a couple of things that we're going to introduce into this change are alarm group schedules and alarm groups. So if you are going through the migration phase, please go view our documentation, which we do have on our resources and documentation page, as well as the video that does cover a little bit more about migration. So this video will walk through the actual steps for utilizing the new V2 notification solution. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with setting up an actual alarm group schedule. Now this is located under Organization. So you can see I'm under the Configurations tab. We'll go Organization. I will select my organization. Here you will see Alarm Group Schedule, and I will create that. This will be set to really control when alarms or notifications are going to be sent. So this is the schedule you will use when you are applying this to an alarm group, and it will have an effect on obviously the notifications and when notifications are sent. So we're going to set this up as more of notifications after hours is going to be our goal. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to set this as we'll say 7 a.m. and we will run that basically from 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. as you can see right there. We'll do that every day of the week, and then on Saturday and Sunday, let's just say all day. Okay. We'll hit save. If you did need to, at the very bottom, you can set exceptions to these schedules above. But for this example, we're just going to keep it pretty simple. We're going to say this is our schedule. I hit save, and you'll see there is my alarm group schedule. It is set name as main, and the frequency is weekly. Next, I'm going to set up an alarm group. This is done at the site level, and this is replacing device groups because this is really what's going to allow you to get more to that thing level. So you'll see under configuration exactly where I've been. Sites, I'm going to click on HQ here, which is my site, and you will see alarm groups and device groups. And so device groups is going away, and alarm groups is what is replacing the capability and adding more capabilities to that use. So we're going to hit add alarm group. We'll say alarm group 1. Select my schedule, which I just created. You can see there. Hit save, and there is my first alarm group. Now I am going to edit this, which you'll see over here to the far right side. Here you can see the schedule. If I needed to create a different schedule, I could. Now in the middle, you will see how the arm and disarm configuration is set up. You've got, just like with device groups, the platform or peripheral. In this example, I'm going to set it under platform, and I'm going to create this and configure this in a disarmed state. If you want to know more about the alarm states, we do have a video on that, but very simple. Armed is going to send notifications and going to ignore the schedule. Disarmed is not going to send notifications as well as ignore the schedule. And schedule is simply going to follow the schedule. Okay. I'm going to hit save. And then at the very bottom, you will see where you have devices. And now I need to add devices or barriers, something like that. Basically, this is where you're going to get more granularity. And so for this example, I'm going to come in and say assign a device. And for here, I will select my camera. If I was doing this maybe at a controller, door controller level, and I want to have certain barriers, I would select down here and select a specific barrier to add. And this is really important, right? Because this is where you're going to see a controller today from Axis, for example. They do have their 2 barrier configuration with the A1610. If I utilize that in the old notification solution, you would see I would get notifications from either barrier that was on that controller. Now what we're doing is getting down to that more granular level where you actually can receive a notification from just one of the barriers or both of them. You also, with the alarm groups, you will be able to set the alert schedule for each barrier separately. This will also eventually pertain to peripherals as well, and so you'll be able to get down to the individual peripheral that is connected to the actual I/O board, for example. Now, as you can see here, I've got my device in here. I've set up everything from the actual alarm group, and we should be good to go. I'm going to jump over now, and we're going to actually create the notification. So to this point, just as a reminder, under organization, we created the alarm group schedule. Then under sites, we created the actual alarm groups. One note is if you are migrating from the old notification solution and you are moving devices from a device group into an alarm group, you have to remove them from the device group first. A device or a barrier, for example, these types of actual topics cannot be in multiple device groups or multiple alarm groups. So as just kind of a reminder here, you have to remove devices from device groups before you add them to alarm groups. Next, you will go to notification. So this is really where we're going to start setting up the actual notification. So we'll do notifications, the new version here. Very top, you see add notification rule in the upper right corner. And this is going to have more of a wizard setup. And so what you're going to do is come in here, you're going to see the organization. We'll name it notification 1. You can add a description, and then you're going to have filters. This is going to be where you utilize the alarm groups and the schedule that does affect those alarm groups. So, for example, if I say alarm group active and I leave that true, this means it will utilize the alarm group as a filter. So when set to true, it is going to go based on the schedule, or if it's armed, it'll follow basically the alert group state. So I'm going to set this to true or active if I want to follow the alert group. Okay, there's a little bit more information here. If you hover over the information icon, you'll see a little bit more information on that. And we do have, again, resources on the website that walk through the actual alert group and what that entails. So next, below that, you would see if I was doing a controller or a barrier, I would be able to control the access point direction. If I click that, I could set that, hey, I only want to be notified when someone's going in or someone coming out. You can utilize that access point direction filter as well. I'm going to hit next at the bottom, and this is where I'm actually going to add the notification in the selecting events and what that will be. So for this one, I'm going to go with we're going to go with Axis Object Analytics right here. So AOA, be notified of a person being detected or vehicle being detected. There is a breakdown of all of these. As you can see, there's a wide range of what events you could select from the actual device topic all the way to the alarm group and then to the barrier as well. I'm going to hit next, and now I'm going to select the actual scope as to what we're alarming on. So you can see here we've got site, alarm group, or devices. For utilizing the alarm groups, I'm simply going to come in here and say alarm group right here. It will populate, and then I simply use the select all. It will move it over, or I could have just selected one to move over, but that's pretty much what we're going to do. We're going to then allow for alarm groups to be the scope of the notification. Then I will hit next, and this is where I'm going to select the user that is being notified, or the actual recipients, right? And you can see it defaults to user at the very top, but the other way that recipients can be selected is organization emails, organization webhooks, or central stations. So if you wanted to fire these notifications to a central station, this is where you'd select that right here. For this example, I'm just going to simply use the main user up here. I'm going to select that. You see it moved over, hit next, and I'm going to review this. Very simple. Start at the top, work your way down, make sure this is accurate and what you want, and then simply hit save. And now I have my new notification set up using Notifications V2. Now, highly recommended to test this. If you are utilizing the alarm groups, you will go in and move that alarm group to armed so that you can test that notification being sent. But yes, very, very last piece is to test it. Again, walking through just as a reminder, start with organization up here at the top. Create your alarm group schedule. Go to sites. Select your site, create your alarm groups, add the devices to that group or the things to that group, and then you will go to notifications and actually walk through creating that notification. Thank you for watching this video.